This is the world's smallest 16-inch foldable bike from Aniwow, and although it's clearly not designed for bike packing, I have always really liked the idea of having a foldable bike for a bike packing trip. And the main reason for that is it kind of allows you to have a different sort of bike packing trip. It gives you more flexibility if you want to catch a bus somewhere, or if you want to stick it in the boot of your car, if you haven't got a bike rack. It just allows for that little bit more flexibility, allowing you to have a different, albeit still really fun, adventure. I actually took this bike with a Burley Travoy trailer out to the Peak District and took it on a mini weekend bikepacking trip, and it was a load of fun. Let me talk you through some of the features. The first thing to mention is the way that this bike folds down. It's got a unique Z fold type design, which means that you can pack it down up to 50% smaller than other foldable bikes out there. And let me tell you, when you fold it down, it is surprisingly small. It easily fit in the boot of my car, which is just a small hatchback. Normally I would need the roof rack on there, but it was a piece of cake. Like all folding bikes, it does take a little bit of getting used to collapse it and then to reassemble it. But I've been practicing with it for a few weeks and I can do it in a minute or two now, so it's really not that long at all. It's a very clever way of packing down. Pretty much everything you see here can be adjusted. The steerer, the handlebars, the frame, the seat post, which is actually a telescopic one, is 2-in-1, so you can collapse it down super small, and the rear triangle can be folded underneath as well. And while we're on the subject of folding, the pedals are very interesting. They aren't actually folding pedals like you get on Bromptons and other foldable bikes. They're actually quick release. There's a button on the back that means you can remove them, and then they secure onto the saddle. There's actually 2 loops on the back of the seat, which means that you can clamp them in there. They're very secure, and with just a pull of a lever you can take them out again and push them straight into the cranks, and they're secure. It's a really quick way of securing the pedals. It's really easy to fold down. You just unscrew these, there's a couple down the frame, and that allows you to then bend it and do the Z fold as I mentioned.
And there's a lock-in mechanism on the handlebars, so you can even fold those flat.
To lower the seat post, you have 2 quick release clamps here. This one slides into here, as I mentioned, it's telescopic, and then this one can go all the way down through the frame. There's a hole at the bottom, and that allows you to push it pretty much completely flat, giving you extra compactability. And to collapse the front down, you have a lever here that you pull, lower that, and that allows you to collapse the steering column. You also have a quick release clamp here to lower or raise the handlebars when you're out riding. This is a steel framed bike, as you would imagine. It needs to be made of steel to make it strong enough with these hinges to support weight. And because it's made of steel, it is actually really comfortable to ride. It gives a really nice smooth feel when you're pushing the pedals. As well as that, it's got a carbon seat post to try and reduce the weight ever so slightly. And it comes with a Shimano SIS 5-speed index gears, which is absolutely fine for a bike of this type. The only thing I would say though is it does come with a 58 tooth chainring, which does mean it's got a pretty big gear, which is fine for city riding, which is kind of what this is designed for, to be honest. But if you're going on any sort of hills, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. I can imagine though you could knock a couple of teeth off that. It's a 130 BCD 5-arm Spider, so there's a load of chainrings out there that you could swap that with. And although it is kind of designed for cities, you do actually get pretty decent tyre clearance on this. These are 1.75 inch tyres on a 16-inch wheel, but you could quite comfortably, I would say, fit a 2-inch tyre on there, which kind of makes it a bit more suitable for things like light gravel, cycle paths, canal towpaths, things like that. I actually used these tyres in the woods when I was bikepacking in the Peak District and then on the Monsell Trail, and they honestly weren't bad at all. It was very smooth. And because this is a folding bike, you don't get any rack mounts or any fork mounts, anything like that, which means there's a limit to how much you can carry with it, which is exactly why I fitted a trailer mount to it and took the trailer with me, meaning I can stick loads of stuff in there and not have to worry about putting stuff on the bike. Another really cool feature about this bike is that when it's collapsed, it's really easy to roll around, which is not something you can say for all folding bikes out there. Aniwow have said that they're going to be bringing out accessories as well, so like a basket or a shopping cart that you can stick on the back, meaning you can kind of use this out and about while you're in town. You don't have to worry about locking it up or anything like that.
And they're even making these foldable picnic tables that you can fasten onto the bike. I'm not sure how much use that would get, but I like the creativity. All of the accessories that you'd use while riding will be fastened to this front rack, which is screwed directly into the frame and is very strong.
If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm really into bikepacking. That's my favourite thing. And although at first glance this doesn't look like a bikepacking bike, I've got some really good ideas I want to use this with. Here in the UK, the train system and especially the bus system is pretty atrocious when it comes to transporting bikes. It's really hard sometimes to get your bike booked on a train, which does allow bikes, and with buses, in many cases, they're just simply not allowed, which makes it very challenging to get to most of the country unless you're really organised. Now, you can drive places, but I do find that's a little bit wasteful, especially when we're thinking about the environment these days. Having to drive everywhere just to get my bike somewhere isn't something that I want to do continuously. So having a foldable bike just gives me way more options. Another thing to think about as well is if you're going bike touring and you're staying in hotels, not all hotels are happy about you bringing a bike in. Whereas if you can collapse it, put it in a bag or in one of those trailers like I did in the Peak District, it's a lot easier to convince someone to let you bring the bike in. There are many bike packing routes here in the UK that are just really difficult to get to if you don't live nearby using public transport. And that's kind of why I wanted to get myself a folding bike, just to give myself a little bit more flexibility and more options. So how much does this bike cost? Aniwow have said that it's going to be approximately around the £600 mark, which is really good value when you compare it to the likes of Bromptons or Terns, other foldable bikes that tend to be quite a lot more expensive. So from my point of view, this is a really good value foldable bike. I've really enjoyed riding this bike, and after riding it for a fair few miles now, there's a couple of things I think that Aniwow could slightly improve on going forward. So the first one is the brakes. These are pretty standard V brakes and they're okay. They do stop you, which is obviously the main thing. But compared to hydraulic disc brakes that we have nowadays, even on folding bikes, they're nowhere near as good, and it would be really cool to see a disc brake version of this coming out, just for that extra peace of mind and extra modulation. As well as that, it's the gearing. The group set is really good. I do like the Shimano 5-speed. It works flawlessly every time, and that's more than enough for the sort of riding you'll be doing. But the chainring is really big, and the gear ratios just means that it's pretty tough unless you're on pretty flat or rolling terrain. If you're going up any sort of climbs like I did in the Peak District, I was out of the saddle for most of the time. So I know you can't have everything with a folding bike, but if I could make my bike even better, those were the two things that I'd improve. This is the prototype version of the AW16 that Aniwow have kindly sent to me to test out. This bike is due to be released any day now. I will leave a link in the description. And although there are loads of foldable bikes out there, this has some really unique features and a very good price point. It should be something you're looking at if you're wanting to get yourself a foldable bike.
Let me know what you think about the Aniwow AW16 in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you got a folding bike? Do you take it bike packing? I'd love to get your opinion on this. And also some advice. Where do you go? Where can you recommend? And also check out the film I made with this bike in the Peak District. It was a great weekend bike packing, super chilled and something very different. And if you're new to the channel, you'll find loads more cinematic films just like this on my YouTube channel in the playlist section. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.